If Rolex ever tell you that they want a watch back, firstly, don't give it back. Secondly, that's kind of a good indication that you might have something special. Like, seriously special. That's exactly what happened to this Rolex owner. Welcome back to the channel. I am Adrian, and I'm not tiny. I mean, I'm not massively tall either. This is just a massive mug, and I'm not supporting Starbucks. I buy props from charity shops to make hotel rooms look less hotel roomy. And then I give them back again. It's kind of a win-win. I get cheap props, and they just get rid of stock for 24 hours. Anyway, you're not here for that. Long story short, I did an event in London with Watchfinder last week. They were trying this idea where we just did a meetup. And then Andrew, who's also got a channel, we'll put a little link there. Hans and I did a little chat about what we thought was happening with the watch market and future trends. Anyway, there are loads of people there, naturally, with watches. Interestingly, most people were there to say, oh look, I've got this nice watch. I didn't bring my Rolex because no one wants to see a Rolex when you go to a watch event. Apart from this Rolex. Now, when you first look at this watch, it just looks like an Explorer. I've got one right here. It looks just like a normal Rolex Explorer, the 114270, the updated version of my one. The differences are it has superluminova on the dial, it has solid end links, and it has an upgraded movement. However, something looks a bit off on this dial. It doesn't look quite right. If you look at the text of Rolex, it's completely different from the Rolex text on my Explorer. And that's not just because it's a slightly different reference. It's I think 8 years younger than my Explorer. The Rolex logo doesn't have any serif. It doesn't have any of the little lines coming off the end of the letters. It's all very clean. Now, the owner of this watch, he didn't want to shout out because he's private and Rolex is trying to get this watch back again. But the owner of this watch got this watch serviced in Singapore at a Rolex service center. Not a chap down the road. This was a legit Rolex service center. And when the dial came back, he noticed the difference and started searching on the forums to try and find out, is this legit? Has my Explorer been serviced with a fake dial? What is going on? He just didn't know. And no one knew on the forums. He went back to the Rolex Service Center in Singapore and kicked up a fuss naturally, got the original dial back again. They assured him it was a legit dial, and then when he came to London, he took it to St. James, Rolex's head office in London, and the service center there was confused about the dial. They took photographs of the dial and sent those back to Switzerland, Rolex head office in Switzerland, and asked them, what is going on with this dial? Rolex Switzerland said, this dial is legit. This is a real dial. However, it is an error, and we need to get that dial back. Of course, Rolex reached out to the owner and said, we will naturally replace your dial for free and get this sorted out. But then that kind of makes you think, if the dial has been confirmed to be legit, the watch is running well, it's been serviced, then you kind of have a one-of-one Rolex Explorer. And within the Rolex world, everyone obsesses about the tiny detail. Rolex makes over 1 million watches a year. And naturally, because Rolexes are so sought after and so kind of rare, they're not rare because there's so many of them made. The rarity comes from these tiny changes, these tiny variants within the detail. How long are the prongs on the crown? What shape is the zero? Is the 6 open or is the 6 closed? All of these tiny details can mean the watch is either rare or not rare. This Rolex Explorer, the 114270, is incredibly rare, and it's probably safe to say that this is the only Rolex Explorer 114270 with this sans serif dial. What would you do in this situation? Would you keep this slightly odd? I don't know which I prefer, whether the serif or sans serif Rolex logo. There's something clinical without the serif, but then there's something cool about having that rarity. What would you do? Would you send it back to Rolex and get them sorted out, or would you just keep it? Maybe you could sell it for a lot of money. Maybe it's worthless because it has this error, or maybe it's priceless. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool that these watch brands, these massive watch brands, this isn't just Rolex, Grand, Seiko, Omega, all of these massive watchmakers are obsessive about detail. If you ever go to a watch manufacturer of that level, everything is so clinical. The air is filtered so there's no dust in the air. Everyone works in these kind of weird chambers where dust just doesn't exist. And so for something like this to happen, where that level of perfection takes place, it's kind of interesting. It makes this very clinical world a little less clinical. It's pretty cool seeing that. Apologies for the quality of the images shown here. I didn't expect to see a watch like this at the watch event. I only took my iPhone and my Leica Q2, and so that's what you're seeing here. But I did want to share this with you. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Would you keep it or would you get it changed? If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. It really does help with the YouTube machine, the monster that is YouTube. It tells YouTube that you enjoyed this video and other people might like this video too. And please hit that subscribe button as well, because equally, watch brands are obsessed about how many subscribers someone has, and I'd quite like to get hands-on with more watches. I should probably plug something. This is our ribbed nylon. Super strong, like insanely strong nylon. Awesome texture. It's quite stiff because of the strength in it, but I love the look of these. Check out the straps at barkandjack.com. We've also got watch cases and watch pouches over there. Give me a follow on Instagram at barkandjack. And if you're interested in photography, give me a follow at Adrian Barker. I know that doesn't make any sense, having it that way around, but that's just how it is right now. I'll see you soon. Take care.